All right. Hi, everybody. I'm going to speak to you today about Power BI pointers. I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks. Just to give you a little introduction, these are my children. I have three. The oldest is 12. The middle boy, he's 8.5, he'll be 9. And my youngest is now 5. They gave me a quick introduction, so I'm just going to kind of speed past this. I'm a Business Intelligence Analyst at UCF. I have a degree in Bachelor's in Management and a Master's degree in Communication. I am also just recently became a blogger at the Microsoft Power BI community. I have 10 years of experience. I started my career working for a small startup business in 2010, and my focus is T-SQL, data warehousing, Power BI, and business intelligence strategy. And last, I'm the leader of the Lando Power BI user group. Feel free to attend. Most of our meetings are virtual, so I don't know how the time zones line up, but if you ever have a chance, go to meetup.com. You can find us there, and you can just follow the link for our meetings. Okay, social media. I'm on Twitter. You can follow me there. My handle is IT Data Diva. I'm also on LinkedIn as IT Data Diva, and I have my webpage, also itdatadiva.com. Okay, so let's just talk about our agenda, what we're going to be talking about. This is going to be mostly demos, so it's going to be pretty interactive. I'm going to have you follow along if you like to. We're going to talk about hide a column header on a table in Power BI. We're talking about a quick trick using the relative date filter in Power BI. We're going to also discuss the topic what you should know about the sort by column setting in Power BI, how to add a toggle feature in Power BI, and then we're going to talk about the Power BI quick reference sheet. All right, and like I said, you can follow along at itdatadiva.com. I have all those blogs there. I'm just going to walk through those. All right, so let's talk about the first demo. I'm going to talk to you about hiding a column header on a table in Power BI. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end this show real quick, and I'm going to bring up the demo. So, just give that a few minutes to load, and then I'll make sure that you can see my screen once it comes up. All right. All right, it's just loading. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, Priscilla.
You can? Perfect. Okay. So this is a report. Of course, it's the demo. And if you look up here, you can see that we have a table here and just some values of team name, employee name, event name, actual amount, estimated amount of PO, over, under, the delta, and then the state. My supervisor had asked me if I could possibly hide this over, under field right here, this title. And at first, I wasn't sure how to do it. I had tried a few things. If you come over here, if you try to rename it, so most people would think, okay, I can just hit backspace and I can hit enter. But as you can see, it doesn't work. It comes right back up. So I found a little trick that can help you hide a column header. So if you go to, and I just want to make sure you'll be able to see my screen. If you're following along on my blog, that's great. So you're just going to go to the start, and you're going to type character map. And can everyone see the character map?
Yep.
Yep, okay, and you just go to the font type is Courier New, and then you want to go to Unicode, and you want to hit 200C, and that's going to bring up right here. As you can see, it's highlighted. It's zero width, and then you're going to want to hit the select button, and then you're going to want to select the copy button. And then once you do this, you're going to go back over here to the value section. So this is going to be my little demo table here. And you're going to come over to the over under field. You're going to rename this visual. You're going to paste it. And then you're going to hit enter. And there you go. You have hid your column header. So that is my little trick right there. Usually a lot of people are very impressed. It seems so easy, but yet it can be difficult to find. So that is my first trick. And I don't know, is there any questions on that one?
Not really.
No? Okay. So then I'm going to close this. Okay, and then I am going to move to my PowerPoint slide again. And we are going to talk about the second demo. Okay, I'm going to talk to you here about a quick trick using the relative date filter in Power BI. Many people have been fascinated with this, believe it or not. I get people frequently messaging me and asking me about this trick. I also have a video on my blog site, so if you're interested in watching the video afterwards, please just go to my site. So let me just click in and I'll open that demo for us. They're just going to take a few minutes to load. Okay, can everyone see the Power BI screen?
Yes.
Okay, I know I'm moving back and forth. I just want to make sure I'm not going on and no one can see it. Okay, so just to give you a little background about this, I have a date dimension calendar, as you can see right here. And I have some filters. And normally what my supervisors prefer is that I show a rolling 13 months, as you can see here. However, usually the problem when you do this is you'll hit rolling 13 months, but then when you publish it to the service, your users can't go any further. They just have the option of March 2020 to March 2021. My supervisors, they actually wanted to see the options going all the way back to January 2016. So I was fiddling around with this and trying to figure out how to do it. I did a couple of Google searches, but nothing really showed me how to bring up these additional options. So let me show you how I figured this out. All right, let me just click off here. Okay, if you can see here, this is my month. And for us, we really only do searches by month and calendar year. So you won't see the actual date. And normally, what most people would do is they would go to March 2020 and they would select all the way down to March 2021. And I was mentioning this to you, if you were to publish this up in the service, you would only see those dates. So what you can do is you can go to the relative date filter and you're going to want to hit in the last. And normally, you have a value range here where you can enter whichever you like. They give you the options of days, week, calendar weeks, months, calendar months, years, and calendar years. So there's a lot of options, which is great. For me, I'm going to use the months. And then I'm also going to include today. And then I'm going to hit the apply filter. I had already set this up for you. So normally, if it wasn't set up, you would just apply the filter and you would see it move. Now, the trick is, if you want to have the other options available, what you want to go to is the basic filtering. And now you can see your other options, July 2016, all the way to March 2021. And those are the dates that my supervisors would like to see. Now, do not touch anything in here. And what you would do is you would go to publish and you would send it up to the service. Now, I can't show you the service because we've got some information on there that I can't show live, but I can show you a screenshot of what it would look like in the service. So if you can see my PowerPoint here, demo 2, if you look over to the right, you can see filters on all pages. And now you can see the options July 2016 all the way to the very present time. And this is really nice because it would still default to what you have. So if you want to, let's say people are looking to hit January 2016, February 2016, but then they realize, they don't want to see those dates. They want to go back to the original view in the Power BI service. You can hit reset to default, and it will set it back to those rolling 13 months. And this trick has been really helpful for people. So I hope you found that helpful too. Okay. So now let's move on to my next demo. Okay, in this demo, it's going to be what you should know about the sort by column setting in Power BI. This is another popular one. This is in DAX. So I am going to close my, my demo for this one. And I'm going to open up our next demo. It's just going to take a few seconds to load. It's usually relatively fast. Okay. And just to double check, can everyone see my desktop?
Definitely.
Okay. I know I'm moving back and forth.
It's okay.
All right. I just thought it would be fun kind of having to show the actual desktop instead of switching back and forth.
Yeah, I'm reading your blog, by the way, side by side. Looks great.
Okay, that's awesome. All right. So this is another report I've been working on for my managers. And to just give you a little background, we have some service requests. And over here is the months. And we kind of just like to see the volume. So I have some more data. If you're following my blog, I can just put the screen over here. This is the table. And what I did was I created just an aggregated table. And you can see the month for April, there were 5 requests. For May, there were 4. And in June, there were 3. And just to give you a little bit of tip, I have a calendar table too, same thing. And let me just point this out. And if you look over here, you can see the month and calendar year integer. This is used to sort your months. Now, if I were to go over here and let's say we select April, let's just play with this and see how it functions. So here's April, right? We've got 5. Now we're going to hit May. You would think it would say 9, but it's not. And actually, let me show you the code as well so you can kind of see what's going on. Where am I? Oops. Okay, so if you see my screen here, this is the value. And you can see here, I have all selected, and I'm saying not for it to look at the month and calendar year. However, it's still kind of aggregating by that. So you have, I have April and May selected, and you can see here, it's not equaling 9, it's still equaling 4. And let's just go for the heck of it and see what else is going to do when I hit June 2020. And you can see here too, it's just showing 3. It seems like it's still kind of filtering by month. What is going on, right? When I saw this, I was totally confused. I thought maybe I wrote some DAX wrong. I was like, what's going on? So if we go over here to external tools, we're going to go to DAX Studio to kind of find out what's going on under the hood. Okay, so let me just hit connect here. Okay. And then let's go. Sometimes this doesn't work, so don't worry if I kind of have a little issues with it. I'll just go over to my PowerPoint slides. So I'm just going to move this around a little bit so you can get something going on. All right, April and May. Let me bring this over here. Let's see, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. We'll try one more time. Okay. Let me move this over here. It seems like every time I demo this, sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, I think I got it now. So let's bring this up to the top. All right. Let's see. Where do I normally see it here? Okay. Here we go. So we can kind of see the summarized columns over here. And if you look carefully, you can see that it's also including the month and calendar year in the summary. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find a way to kind of get that to not filter. So let me move over to here. And that's kind of how I figured out what's going on. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why it's not filtering properly. So in my actual new calculation for DAX, if you look, you can see over here that I'm actually including the month and calendar year integer. And once I do that, then it starts to actually filter properly. So let's go over and kind of just demo this out. Okay. So, as we can tell, April is going to be 5. But now let's combine them together, April and May. Oh, look at that. So our old calculation still has 4, but our new calculation now has 9. Yay! So let's see how it works with June. Okay, yay! So now we have 12. And as you can see, the old one is still kind of filtering out based on month and calendar year. So that sort by column can actually be quite tricky sometimes if you're not careful with what's going on. And to tell you the truth, I had totally forgotten about it. I didn't even realize that was having an effect. I was like, oh, okay. So, and for those of you who are not so familiar about the sort by column, it is right here. And you can see I'm sorting by month and calendar year integer. So this is a really neat trick, and I also recommend using DAX. It can really help you sometimes because you can have a lot of filters on here, and it helps you sometimes to kind of see what's going on behind the hood, and perhaps maybe there's something filtering that you may not see. Okay, and that is my demo for that. So I'm going to close this. Okay, so let's now move on to demo 4. And let me make sure I'm not missing one. I did this one. Okay. So this one is to how to add a toggle feature in Power BI. And since we're doing good on time, we can slowly walk through this one. Let me just open it up. So just give me 1 second, please. Okay. I'm going to open up the demo, and then I'm also going to open up the example. And I have not blogged about this one yet. I've been kind of out of time with it. So
I was searching for it.
I've actually not had enough time. I've been trying to get to it. And then, sometimes I'll end up blogging about something else. And I guess if it's a big demand for it, I can do it. Let me open up the other one. Okay, so here is the example. Let us just load. Okay, so this is our change management report. And I'm sure all of you figured out by now what exactly I'm doing. For UCF, I actually work in the IT department, and we actually monitor our services. So we're really seeing how fast our services are being given to our customers based on our SLAs. And this over here is our change management report. And my supervisors had asked me, and they said, can you find a way to kind of toggle? Because right now, they were saying, we have this change success. However, some of the leadership feels like there needs to be more of a relaxed policy. So this is a per policy, and then we're going to toggle to more of a what we call relaxed policy. So I'll show you how we want this to work. So if I click this, you can see it switches back over to none policy. You can see over here, I have an asterisk that's showing that this is the none policy. And over here, you can, if you watch again, you can just kind of see it move. It works really nice. And once you're in the service, the really cool thing is that they won't even see the part of the button. It will just look like it's actually moving back and forth like a toggle. Now we can, since I have some time, we can kind of demo this out. And sometimes, when you're building this, it can be a little bit tricky because you've got to really be meticulous about which buttons you're hitting and which ones you're hiding. So let's go over to the view. And if I don't get through all of this and, it gets a little messy, it's fine. I showed you on the other side what it should look like. Okay, so you're going to want to open your bookmarks because it needs to remember what page. And you're going to want to open the selection. And you can see here that I have relaxed. And if you kind of look over here to the side, I have another box that's open. Same thing over here. I have another box, text box, and another card. And then I have a bar chart. So what we're going to do first is we're going to kind of start off at the policy page. So let's just add a bookmark. Okay, and let's rename it. Let's just call it, let's see, change management per policy. Okay, and we're going to hit enter. All right, so over here is my objects that I can hide or show. So let's see, toggle image off. We're going to want to hide that. Non-policy text, let's hide that. Right, so okay, so far so good. Let's go over to the other image. So sometimes I can kind of see what's being highlighted here. So let me actually stretch this out too so I can see all the words, the verbiage, excuse me. So unsuccessful change relax, let's hide that as well. And let's see, this is relax, so let's hide that. And that we're going to need, so let's not hide that. And this is another relaxed image, is it? Yes. Okay, so we'll hide that one too. So toggle image is on. Change success by teams, but I need month over month type. Unsuccessful change policy. Okay, and I think I got all of them. And then month over month. Like I said, you kind of have to be really meticulous about what you're wanting to show. Okay, once I got that up, I'm going to go over here to the bookmark, change management per policy. We're going to click 3 dots here and we're going to hit update. Okay, great. Now let's add a new bookmark. We're going to rename it. I'm going to call it change management relaxed. Okay. And now we're just going to want to hide the images that we don't want to show. So let's go over and we're going to want to show the toggle image now, which is off. We're going to want to show the non-policy text. Let's see, we're going to want to, let's see what this one is. Sometimes they're kind of hard to read. That one should be fine. This one's relaxed. There we go. Per policy, per text. There we go. Month over month change success. I think this one's good. Toggle image on. We don't want it on, so we're going to hide it. Let's see, change success by month. I think I have them all. If I miss them, it will actually show. So this is the policy. Oops. So I got to show this one. And then I just got to hide this one. There we go. And then month over month change success. I should be good with that one. Okay, so now we can kind of see non-policy and the toggle is off. So we're just going to go to relaxed here. And we're going to hit update. So let's check now to make sure we got everything. All right, that looks good. Okay, that looks good as well. All right, so now let's double check and make sure, oops, that our button right here has an action on it. So we're going to hit on. And now we're going to hit the type of a bookmark. And now you're going to want to hit change management relax, because that's the page we're going to want to switch to. All right, and I believe I don't have to save that, but let's just do it just to double check. Okay, and now let's go over to relaxed, and we're just going to click the button here, and looks like I may have turned this action on from earlier in the demo. And then we're just going to want to hit per policy, and I'm going to hit update. So let's go back to here and let's test it out. There we go. So it's switching. You can kind of see it going back and forth. Now don't forget, if you're on the desktop, you are going to have to hit Control and hold it and click here to follow the link. But this is a really cool trick, I believe, and it looks great on the service. Normally I don't walk people through this, but since we have some extra time, I thought it'd be cool to kind of walk through it and kind of see the process that you're going through as you create this. All right, so let's close this. And I'm not going to save my changes because I'll need that for another time. All right, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is just some tips and tricks about some Microsoft links. All right, so if you want to follow my webpage, that is there as well. It's actually my very first blog that I created back in January of 2020. And it was actually a really great hit. Believe it or not, on Twitter, now not likes, but the amount of views, you can actually see how many views you get. I've got over 19,000 views on that one tweet. So let's go over and see where it is. That was my recent post. Let me hit blog. Okay, And if not, you can just look at my PowerPoint slide here. So what I did was I looked at Microsoft and kind of studied the page and how it interacts. And you can see here that this is the official Microsoft Power BI website. It contains the links to all you need to know for Power BI. Here's the Power BI documentation. So if you want technical information and answer some of your questions, you can go here. They have a planned release, planned features. On my blog, I still have to update it. I gave the old actual link that I have. I recently put this into the Power BI community where I'm blogging, and someone gave me some advice to use this new link right here, Power BI release plan. It is actually really great, and let's see if I click it. You can kind of get a look at this, but I really liked it. Let's see if it opens. Okay. And I was given this link, and it looks like right here, which is really nice, is you can see the upcoming release plan. So this is September 2021, and you kind of scroll down. So this is really interactive. The other link I had wasn't. So this is really great to see kind of what's coming out, what's in public preview, what's going to be released. Next is the Power BI blog. So this is for the actual Microsoft employees blogging, and this gives you all the latest updates. Next is some Power BI training, which is free training, which consists of learning packs and modules. And then they have Guide Learning, which is the same thing pretty much. It's seeking courses for learning Power BI. Then, of course, it's a service, and most people will be familiar with this unless you're new. And then they have Power Query, which is the technical documentation. Behind the scenes, you use M. Then you have DAX, and I gave the link for that, which is very helpful. And then I have the Power BI user group. This is a great way to start and get familiar with your community and get to know other people. And the last thing is the Power BI community, and this is kind of where I blog. This is kind of a forum where you can ask questions, you connect, learn, and discuss ideas with other business intelligence experts and peers. Okay, so just the summary. I spoke to you about what you should know about the sort by column setting in Power BI, and about how to use DAX, and how to go over to the tools and use DAX Studio. I also spoke to you about how to add a toggle feature in Power BI, which a lot of people are always impressed with that little toggle button. And then I also gave you some quick reference sheets, kind of a trick to go, and so you don't have to kind of go everywhere and look. It's all in one spot for you. So that is the end of my presentation. I'm wondering if anyone has any questions.